Hello, we are Team 3 and our startup for today is VentHour. Your secrets are safe with us. I am Anuhya, the Chief Operations Officer of VentHour, and I will be introducing our startup.
I am Anson, and I am the Chief Financial Officer of our company.
I'm Courtney and I'm the CEO of the team.
I am Anuhya, the Chief Operations Officer.
I'm Radha, the Chief Marketing Officer.
So moving on to our presentation. Did you know 1 in 7 people in Hong Kong experience mental disorders at any given time? Furthermore, slightly over half of the secondary school students show some symptoms of depression. This shows how big of a problem this is in Hong Kong, and that's why we decided to base our startup on this topic for today. As we can all see from this slide, going through a mental problem in Hong Kong is a very lonely experience due to the high stigma surrounding the issue. And that's why we created an app to connect those who are suffering from mental issues.
Hi, I'm Courtney, the CEO of the team. Let me now introduce you our product. Our startup is an app called VentHour. One key feature of our app is that people using this app can have their identity go anonymous. Our users are divided into student user, adult user, professionals, super premium, and gold premium. After downloading the app, there will be a mini questionnaire in order to make the user meet more like-minded mates in the app. This is the home page of our app, also the feed page. It is a platform for different users to make posts and comments on others. When you look to the right top corner, there is a menu button, and when you press on it, there should be a bar pop up at the side. Depends on the different type of user, you can see that there are different functions available respectively. From the left to the right, students, young adults, super premium, gold premium. So this are the function of our apps. First, see at the left-hand side, the peer-to-peer communication function. And next to it, there is a one-to-one chatting service for professional for better advice. Then we have the provision of weekly seminars about mental health. Users can watch the seminars on live or the recorded version. Lastly, a function that is only available for the Gold Premium user. They're assigned a personal social worker who will follow up one's case constantly.
Hello, I'm Anson, and I'll be talking about how our startup competes with other mental health apps. Out of all the other mental health apps that we found, we were one of the few that has mental health seminars and one of the only apps that includes peer-to-peer support of other people who also have mental disorders. Now, our market size, our serviceable obtainable market would be those of students and young adults in Hong Kong. And we hope to expand this range to those in Asia and eventually those globally as well. Now, moving on to the business model, Courtney's talked a little bit more about our functions already. So I'm going to move on to what people can use which functions for free. Now, for students, they can use our peer-to-peer communication services freely, while young adults have to pay a fee of 24 Hong Kong dollars to use the peer-to-peer communication function. Students can also access our mental health seminars for free, while they have to pay to talk one-on-one with a social worker. Adults have to pay 62.7 Hong Kong dollars to watch the seminars, while they have to pay 78.38 Hong Kong dollars to talk with therapists one-on-one.
Okay, so the major challenge that we face is the issue of checking whether a user is a student or a working adult. A solution to this problem is to ask students for a verification source, like a student ID card. Students are required to do so every year to ensure that they're still students. An additional challenge is attracting more licensed therapists to join our company, since we are a social enterprise and may not be able to pay therapists as much. Our ask is 300K Hong Kong dollars, from which we would be earning roughly 105K Hong Kong dollars in the first year itself.
This is the end of our presentation. Thank you.
All right, just about time. Yeah, in the exact 5 minutes. Thank you so much, Team 3. So we will begin our 5 minutes of Q&A with the judges. It starts now.
Hi, Team 3. It's Sabrina here.
Yes,
Hey.
please.
So can you talk through your financials in the appendix? I mean, it seems like quite an ambitious amount that you're going to be earning. And also, I'd be keen to hear how you'd market this app and whether there's any kind of partnerships with schools or, you know, other local community support groups. I like the idea, but I think it's ambitious. You've got very stiff competition in the market.
Hello, I'm Anson. I'm the Chief Financial Officer, so I'm really happy to answer the question. So for our appendix and our financial records, I do think it's a little bit messy, but we all approximated the customers that we'd be receiving. I do think we overestimated a little bit, but it is our first time trying this sort of activity. Okay, so for marketing, we would be advertising for we'd be advertising through Instagram. We also plan to establish an Instagram account and maybe cooperate with some mental health NGOs that work in Hong Kong. Maybe we can talk about some mental health topics together with these NGOs on a live. Your idea of partnering up with schools is actually a very good idea. I'm sorry, we neglected to write about that in our appendix, though. I apologize.
Hi, this is Akshay. I have a question for you. So if I understand correctly, the premium or your gold users will pay $10 every 6 months. Is that right?
Yes, half yearly.
And through that, they can have one-on-one access to therapists. Is like how many times? Is it just once in 6 months or as often as they need?
We did neglect to mention that, but it's but they can book times with therapists to follow up on their own personal mental health one-on-one.
Right. So, you know, if you were to book a session with a counselor right now in Hong Kong, right, I think it costs anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 Hong Kong dollars, right? So I'm just wondering, how will you be able to pay for these counselors, right? Because you're charging very little, right? What is the expectation, and how will you find quality counselors who would be willing to work with you?
To be more specific, we would not be just working with counselors. We plan to primarily be working with social workers, which we can see in our appendix that we included as an expense to hire these social workers. However, yes, it is actually a challenge on how we would get these social workers to cooperate with us.
So let me understand, what is the biggest attraction of your app? Is it the peer-to-peer communication? Is it access to counselors, or you know, like what is the biggest hit point for your app?
I do think the biggest hit point of our app is that it is a peer-to-peer communication that focuses mostly on mental health.
And why can't these people do that on Facebook or whatever, like WhatsApp or whatever they use?
Because these are social medias which are focused around more general topics, just any topic, honestly. These are social media apps in general. And if these people talk about their mental health suddenly on these social media apps, it might be a bit jarring to their viewers. So we wanted to create a platform where everyone would be comfy talking about their own mental health together on one app.
And sorry, just because this will be an unsupervised, encouraged discussion over a relatively very sensitive topic, I just wonder,
Yes.
how would you be ensuring that no harmful or additionally negative views, potentially impacting these unsupervised comments?
I'm
Like how, for
happy-
example,
oh,
Facebook has to have their control team to monitor the contents that's being shared, right? How would
Yes,
you plan to police this?
I'm happy you asked that question because in our appendix, I think we did include the cost for hiring app moderators. However, I do think we lowballed the amount a lot. I'm very sorry about that.
So 40,000 Hong Kong dollars for full year, right?
Yes.
And how many people will you be hiring? And will there be some kind of an algorithm you're building, or is this going to be purely manpowered? Because I think there's a limit in how much the person can read through the anonymous chats. And also, if that's the case, is it really anonymous?
You are very right. If we're doing it manually, because we did not think of using an algorithm at all, so I'm going to say we're using it manually, it is going to take a lot of people. If we're assuming that if 1,000 people are going to be joining in the first year. This is why I said a little earlier that we lowballed the app moderator amount a lot. This is absolutely a mistake on our part. I'm so sorry.
All right, team 3, that's the end of the Q&A session. Thank you so much, judges, for the very realistic questions about how the business is going to work. And yeah, indeed, team 3 has quite a bit of room for improvement in considering, like partners and also the hiring social workers and other moderators.